This is another episode of Dennis and the Doc. I am the Doc. I am joined by the Dennis, Mr. Dennis Thamanos, who are both recipients of 1 seeds in the Jays Twitter Roster Builder Challenge.
I had nothing to do with the formula.
I'm sure there was absolutely nothing going on with that formula. No, I swear it's the results are true.
Yeah, I'm sure. You might have wagered your shit to help your team. There could be some confounding variables there.
I will admit to unconscious bias.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think you intentionally did it, but I don't know anything about the formula.
No, of course. I think the way I thought about building my team is going to be the things that I prioritized in the calculation. So
it's a little different. Some different approaches, as we're going to see.
There's a lot of different approaches, and I was very surprised by the way the formula shook out, because I think a lot of teams that I thought were stronger are in the lower 6-7 range, and some of there were some surprising high seeds. I think actually I'd lean more toward that there were more surprising high seeds than surprising low seeds. It's hard to say off the top of my head, but there's some interesting matchups in here. Hoping we get some nice sampling on the voting.
Yeah.
Hope we reach far and wide. Just looking at my region down there in the CenturyLink region, the bottom right region. You got some heavy hitters in there, Faux, Lenardi, and Sindelar in the first round. That's a big one. Some big audience there. I don't know. I'm interested to see how this shakes out and if people stop caring by the second round, which is very possible.
How are we going? This round by round? People are voting?
I think so.
Or are we just voting?
No, I think we're letting the masses vote.
Huh.
I think we should probably give our takes on each round.
Sure, yeah, we can do that. We can go one by one through game.
Do you want to do that today?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, do we want to talk about Xavier first?
Yeah, let's talk about Xavier.
All right, so if you've already clicked off, apologies, but we are just going to get to last night's game. Jays defeat Xavier, what was it, 84-78?
It was by 7 because a lot of people in the building had 7.5 and Ground and Ashworth missed the free throw.
Yeah, but I thought there was more scoring after. It was 85-78. Okay.
Not this guy though, plus 8.5 cash it. Don't talk about the under.
Got up to 9.5, so.
Yeah, I had more of that too.
A lot of people were probably in good shape.
I had Xavier, so I got Harry for a second. You didn't deserve, if you had Crane, you didn't deserve to win that.
No, probably
Xavier
not.
was absolutely the right side.
Yeah. And again, it's a little of both, where it's a hot opponent that metrics and then we're just not that good.
Yeah, no, really. I felt like Xavier played decently well. I thought that we played decently.
I just mean in terms of the line.
Yeah.
Picking sides of the line. Yeah, I thought we played well yesterday.
Couple more turnovers than you'd like, but
yeah. So it was a quad 2 opportunity for us last night, but a high quad 2. Certainly.
I was gonna say non-zero chance it ends up quad 1.
They got to move up 7 spots, so yeah, that's possible.
They might beat us by 35 at Cintas.
Not looking forward to that game at all.
It could be funny. If we think we're gonna lose, let's just start scoring on ourselves and try to make this win quad 1. Who gets a fuck?
Yeah, what are we worried about? Our seating at this point? It's starting to look pretty narrow, our outcomes for the postseason. It's
just going to be last year. You're going to be somewhere between a 5. Your ceiling's a 4, your floor's a 7.
Well, Lenardi has us as a 3 right now.
That's not happening.
Well, I think if you looked at it right now, you could say, okay, maybe. But given the stretch of games we've got coming up to end of the season, I don't see any way we end up on a 3 line. Yeah, I think the 5 is your most likely outcome.
5 and probably play Indiana State. They'll get an 11.
Do you think?
Indiana State? Yeah, I think they'll be one of the top AQs. I guess depending if they win the Valley or not.
Well, that's what I mean. They're in danger, I think, because if it comes down to, I don't think the Valley's getting too.
It could.
It could, but I don't. Yeah, they're each one bad loss away from not getting in.
Potentially, yeah.
So if it comes down to Drake or Indiana State, it's.
If Indiana, what's their record right now? They still have 3 losses, right? It's at Bama, at Michigan State, at Drake.
Correct.
That's a perfectly fine resume. They're 43rd in KenPom.
I mean, if they lose like a reasonable, like if they lose like something like if they lose at Belmont, win everything else, and go like 28 and what would that be 27-4 and lose in the Valley Championship, I think they probably get in at 29-5.
And what's their best win? I mean, nothing really.
They won at Bradley. I don't know.
That's their quad 1 win.
Yeah. Okay. This was talking Indiana State.
I don't know.
I mean, they
I
got
can
home
see
win
it.
over. I didn't. Geez, Drake's top 50 now.
Yeah.
Huh. Drake needs that Nevada win to age well.
Yeah. That Stephen F. Austin loss is not going to.
No, it's
so
not. And 1 point overtime to UAB.
I didn't realize UAB was that bad this year.
Probably just because McNeese smoked him.
Yeah. Yeah, so they've each got a chance, but you lose the wrong game. You lose on the road at Evansville or something like that, and you can pack it up and hope for the AQ.
Quick McNeese point: if they play if it's 14 McNeese, 3 seed Tennessee, every penny you own on Tennessee. Their matchup, if they play Wisconsin, they can compete.
Sure.
But if they play a physical team that's gonna get in your face, holy shit, they're gonna get. It's gonna be like an Oral Roberts Duke last year.
Wow. Okay.
That's
where a ton of people are gonna pick it.
Assuming they get in, which they probably will. That could be another interesting run the table, lose in the Southland Championship.
Yeah, I mean the metrics the net won't love them the same way it does with Indiana State.
No, but they'll be 31-3.
Yeah, I trying to think of a good comp for that didn't.
What did Monmouth go that one?
Not
year?
that good. I thought they finished with less than 30 wins.
I mean, yeah, McNeese has a couple wins too that can age decent. They need Michigan to win, they need VCU to win.
Yeah, they've got a prayer. I mean,
Monmouth was 27-7.
31-3 with wins in probably the best games on your schedule.
27-6.
Who did McNeese lose to?
No one bad. Louisiana Tech and someone else kind of respectable.
Well, so they've won the best game on.
They lost at Western Carolina, who's 117 in KenPom, so not a disaster. I mean, that's not a disaster.
It's not a disaster.
Lost at Louisiana Tech, who's 84th, which that's fine.
Yeah, they've won the 3 best games on their schedule.
Yeah, they have two quad. They're 2-2 quad 2, and
the only problem is that the highest remaining team they play is 213 Corpus Christi, and that's a home game. They play exclusively quad 4 games for the rest of the season. I did not realize it was that bad.
Oh, Southland's terrible. That's why.
You don't sneak one team into the top 200.
No, I mean that's why. I don't forget if I said it on here, but and I didn't think they were going to be this good. It was the freest bet of all the futures. They were plus 120 to win the conference.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, they're projected to win the Southland by 5 games right now.
Yeah, I mean they're not favored by less than 7 in any game left on their schedule.
Yeah, their minimum win probability in a game is 75%, and that's at Nichols.
Yeah.
I wish I dropped Iowa instead of Boise, but I had to get them for our pool, for our Boise.
Yeah.
All right, that was talking Creighton Xavier.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was our discussion of our likely 12 seed opponents. Could be a James Madison. Could be a.
Yeah, it could be Iowa State too, but Sunbelt.
Maybe same boat.
James
probably,
Madison. James Madison probably has to win out and lose the championship to App State.
Yes.
App State has a win over Auburn. You talk about a win that's aged well.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Auburn's other loss was in their MTE?
No, they lost opening night to Baylor on a neutral.
Okay. I had completely blocked that from memory.
I think it was in the Pentagon. Yeah, they play at Bama.
It was in the Pentagon.
Finally a real kind of opponent, I guess.
Yeah, Jays fans, that would be a very important win for us if Alabama can pull that off. Not that Alabama is hated by the metrics, but
quite the opposite.
They need to start getting some respect.
I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit, and we talked about Michigan State. I saw Alabama being a 3 seed or 4 seed. Why? I get the metrics love it. You have to win games at some point.
Yeah, their major conference games right now are a loss to Ohio State, a win against Oregon, loss to Clemson, loss to Purdue, loss to Creighton, loss to Arizona, loss to Tennessee, and their wins now are Mississippi State, South Carolina, which looks better, Vandy. So they're not, they have one win to hang their hat on,
Yeah.
And they're 3-7 in power conference games. Yeah, that's not a 3 seed. You can argue like, hey, that's some circumstantial stuff, so they should still be in the tournament.
Yeah, I'm fine if you want to let them in.
Well, it's not. I don't think that's the issue right now. Because I mean, like even record-wise, you look at it, it's like 12-7. Like Villanova's in right now with 11-7.
Yeah.
So that's not really their issue. But yes, they are clearly a team that's being largely identified as frauds right now, and we could use that.
Would you say they're frauds? I'd say it's the
I
other
would
one.
not.
Like,
but it's one of those where like they're
the
the metrics darling that never gets it done.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to put it the other way. Like, I think Memphis was a fraud when they were top 10. And you're like, okay, this is not a top 10. Like,
It's difference between fraud in like the computers and fraud in the poll. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I have now embraced this world where those are just two entirely different entities, and we shouldn't even compare them.
Yeah.
You know, like you either care about the polls or you care about the metrics, and I no longer care about the polls.
Yeah.
Like the polls is just cool to say we're ranked.
Yeah, I agree. There's still a little bit of prestige. Like, I think getting the top-notch rankings, like, it's fun for a New Mexico to get ranked.
Yeah, well, it's different for everyone. That's
That
what
reminds me of my theory. Remember, mid-major team gets ranked, go on the road game, fade them.
immediately lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
tonight,
actually
if
did already
if
bet.
New
They play
Mexico
San
plays,
Jose State tonight.
Yeah, I know. Set that
Oh,
up
there you
for
go. I was gonna say. Okay, I was gonna say I actually already bet San Jose State, but I forgot I have that rule.
Yeah, so watch out for that game tonight. And that was talking New Mexico.
Yeah, that's talking Mountain West. Real quick, talking Mountain West. Air Force beat UNLV by 34. We just talked in our last pod about how that UNLV win or loss had aged okay. That put a little hurt into that. A 34-point home loss to Air Force.
I was going to say, we're now, 50-point dogs to Air Force
Yeah.
in Vegas, so not great. But our metrics are evening out a little bit. So we dropped out of the top 10 defenses in KenPom. I think we're still up there in Torvik. With this past result, we're down to 13th. And a lot of that was, we're down to 21st in Torvik. Holy cow.
Overall or defense?
Defense.
Okay.
Yeah, 16th overall, 36th offense. Torvik, 33rd KenPom.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, been a little inefficient of late, in a way that we're not really used to. God, seeing 260th in transition next to our name is so crazy in the tempo.
Yeah. Shit, how many D1 teams are there? Are there still
362.
Oh, okay, we are down to 362. I was gonna say, are we out of dead last? But no, that's right.
It's still like a comfortable margin.
Good.
We've started turning teams over, but it's gonna take like 3 more weeks of that.
It's like kind of unlucky. Giving up 70. Opponents are shooting 75.7% of the line against us this year. That ranks 345th.
Yeah, where's our luck at? Our luck is 135. All right, we're pretty middle of the pack in luck.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, free throws, not great. We're getting to the line at a even lower rate than it feels, I think, because it actually feels like we're doing a better job of that than in most years.
Yeah, I mean, we're 338th in the country.
Yeah, well, but that's what I mean. Like, we're always down there. I would have guessed we were generating more this year than in previous years by a fairly comfortable margin.
We ranked, so in free throw attempts to field goal attempts, we rank 338th at 25.9%, and defensively we rank first at 15.1, which is pretty insane, the difference. What's second? Is anyone even near us? Second is Dayton at 19.8.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're good at that.
So I got to do that now. What's the gap between first and second compared? So it's 4.7, so 23.5 or 24.5. Oh, that'd be the difference between second and 17th.
Yeah,
The difference between 1 and 2.
God, I love our team stat sheet. 362nd in turnover percentage, first in free throw percentage.
And a good segue to talking a little bit more about the actual game last night.
That was also talking Xavier.
Because it was another game. We are now on 3 in a row where we have managed to convince the opposing fan base that we
3 wins in a row. I think UConn didn't care.
Oh yeah, that's
UConn,
I forgot
notoriously
that
grounded fan base.
Yeah. But 3 games in a row now, 3 wins in a row where teams have not been too happy with the officiating against them.
No, I mean, I thought it was fine yesterday. Like, I mean, the flagrant foul, like, okay, that's your fault for being a fucking idiot. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what he was, two-hand shoved him. I don't think he flopped either.
No,
like, it looked like a pretty legit shove.
To be fair, I didn't really see any Xavier fans complaining about that. They were,
No.
if any, it was the technical and it was little stuff all of like Usman was moving on the screen every time. Like, I know everyone does that in college basketball, and they gave each of the guys one of them, but
I love that when they call one guy for the moving screen and
Immediately
go
on the other
call
side of the
guy.
court, yeah.
It's so like it's just it's so stupid. Like, I respect the hell out of like how like they come down, they're like, fuck it, like, we're gonna try to clean this up. I'm like, you get one, you get one. All right, we're not gonna call it.
Well, I wonder how much of that's the game within the game too.
Yeah.
Like, one of the coaches bitches about it, gets
Yeah.
the call, and then goes down. Like, well, you asked for it. We're calling them now.
Yeah. They like the technical. Like, I don't know what was said. It seemed. I mean, they were bitching, but like, the foul was a foul. I don't know
Yeah.
what they were complaining about. And then I'll also say, like, I'm perfectly fine not giving him a technical. Like, when Denny picked up his fourth, he absolutely could have got, like, he was
I couldn't
yelling
believe
at the
he
refs for 25. Like, I'll actually give a little bit of, like, I think if there's 10 minutes left in the first half, he gets teed up every time right there.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll kind of give the refs a little bit of credit of, in a 2-point game, you call a foul, and now you call a technical, a foul out their starting center.
Right.
Now it's Creighton gets 4 points in the ball, and, like, you don't end the game there, but you kind of end the game. So I'm fine with them not calling it there. But if they did call that, like, I don't think anyone could have complained.
No,
like,
you couldn't have gone like, wow, that's the worst technical I've ever heard.
it was
Like, no, he was asking for it.
I mean, he did more than Shireman did the other day, and I also, like, again, to be clear, like, I kind of agree with both calls.
Yeah.
Like, Shireman absolutely should have got a technical, and, like, you easily could have given one to him. Like, again, game, I'm fine not doing it, but he objectively, I think, did more than Shireman did.
Yeah.
And that also was a foul. Like,
Right.
again, it kind of goes back to the Seton Hall point that I talked about. If you want to call, I mentioned this in the Seton Hall pod, that if you want to call 30 fouls and a half, you can. Like, again, I think every time Kalkbrenner caught the ball,
Two hands in his hips every time, and then they put the forearm
By
on
the
it.
book, he probably committed 15 fouls in
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah.
And again, what do you want to call, don't want to call? I don't know. A discussion for a different day. But yeah, I don't really know what they were mad about.
Because what the guidance now is, if at any point in time you've got two hands on the ball handler, they're going to call
That's
it.
what it's supposed to be. by
Yeah,
the book.
so Usman could have fouled out in the first 10 minutes. Yeah, every time he received the ball in the post, it's two hands on his hips, and then he throws the forearm into him. So, yeah, no, once again, like, if you're still complaining about Creighton foul disparity, you're not paying attention. And that's fine for teams that play us once, twice a year, but, like, Big East fans should probably have caught on by now.
I think, yeah.
And I again, like, I love the arguments, like the Big East calling in a favor for Creighton or something. Like, that win would have done way more for Xavier than us.
Yeah.
That arguably puts them on the right side of the bubble when the time comes. So, I'm sure the Big East hates money and just called that in to make sure we didn't get any more of it.
College sports conferences notoriously money averse.
Yeah. Make no decisions based on it whatsoever. It's all about the integrity of the game. So that was, I think, do we have anything else from Xavier? I mean, it feels silly to not talk about individual contributions yesterday, like tale of two halves in terms of who was playing well, but...
Yeah, I mean, again, shout out to our boy Matt DeBarinis. Knows ball, especially women's ball, but knows the men's game as well. He's been championing for Kalkbrenner to get more touches. Surprise, surprise. The last two games we've gone to him, and it's worked out.
Yeah, it's went okay.
He's somehow averaging like 16 in Big East play now, which I thought he was averaging about 8 through the first 8 games.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he got up to 16 a game.
Yeah.
Good for him, I guess. Yeah, I mean, offense is pretty good. Only sub 100 O rating was Farabello. King didn't register one. 2 minutes of cardio, good for him. But everyone else, yeah, over 100, and Trout was the only other one below 110. So offense was pretty good. Defense wasn't great, but defense wasn't great from a points per possession. Gave up 113.
Yep.
But I thought it was fine. Like, I thought they hit some tough shots. I'm not really gonna complain a ton.
No, like, some teams are just going to look like they're tearing it up because they have guards who like attacking drop coverage, right? Like, even though Richmond's percentages on Saturday were terrible, like, it felt like he was attacking and getting comfortable.
Yeah.
Same thing for McKnight, where it felt like he was getting to all the spots he wanted to get to. And he made a lot of them. So I think we as a fan base are so used to when they take those little 13-footers, like it bricking. So every time it doesn't, I feel like we get demoralized. We're like, wait, what's happening? What's going on? But, you take what you can get. They've been putting up, they've been averaging like 86 their last 3 games.
Something like that. Yeah.
So you still, to some degree, held them in check.
You had McKnight go 4 of 5 from 3. He came into the game shooting 12 of 37. Like, whatever,
Right.
that'll happen. But
Yeah,
like,
Olivari, I think, hit both of his,
live
too.
with it. No, Olivari was 1 of 4.
Who, Swain then? Somebody hit, like, their
1 of 3. No, they were 7 of 21 as a team. So outside McKnight, 3 of 16.
All right.
Claude was 0 of 5 from 3, 7 of 23 from the floor.
Yeah, he's not a shooter.
Yeah, I mean, you were fine. Like, not really a ton of complaints.
No. It's a, like, we'll talk about conference games differently than non-conference games. Like, sometimes you just got to do enough. The last 2 games we've done enough.
Spread was between 7.5 to 9.5. You won by 7.
Right.
You kind of did what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, and you can say, like, probably should have been closer than that, but...
Yeah, no, it wasn't a 7-point game. You trailed for a decent amount, but...
Again, the difference between a 7-point game and a 3-point game is a shot not falling on each side, so...
Yeah, not a huge deal. I mean, you play... Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, Baylor first half couldn't get into the game. I think it's one of those things where if you're not playing well on the defensive end, it's harder to shake yourself into the game offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, in reverse in the second half for Trey, they clearly switched and made him the target of their defense. Like, I didn't identify it during the game. I guess I just wasn't paying that close of attention. But they switched, I don't know if they switched Claude onto him or Olivari in the second half, but whoever it was guarded him a little differently and frustrated him from getting to his spots. Still got there a couple times when you needed him to.
That being said, Trey, 27 points in a game against a good opponent. Good job. Been asking for that for a while.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too. Like, with him, he's had a couple of these performances this year, and then he's had games where you're like, dude, you have to be there doing this kind of stuff.
So credit to him. We've been on him. We'll tip the cap. 10, 9, 4. Did have 4 turnovers, but whatever.
Yeah.
10 of 18 from the floor, 5 of 5 from the line. Good job.
Only one who did his job from the line today. Although Ashworth
7
only
of 8.
missed that one. Yeah. Although when your guy shoots 95%, you have expectations, I guess. Trey coming back around. Like, here's the thing. Like, we've talked about this before, but the guys who like want to come back to our old things, like, oh, you said Trey sucked a week ago.
Yeah, he did.
We said he sucked in that game.
Yeah.
We said he's maybe he's been sucking for a couple of games now. We know what kind of players these guys are.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not gonna sit here and be like, we're not gonna do the jumpin' Jay and be like rooting against our team and like sad when they do well.
I saw that. That was kind of insane.
Guys, I don't know. He bothers me a little bit. It's one of those guys like wants to just make sure he comes out ahead no matter which way the game goes.
Which I do respect a little bit.
It's like doing like a happiness hedge, but in life.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. It feels like fake fandom to me. And I say that as someone who usually tries to be right, even when we're losing or winning. But I don't know. It's the difference of like, we're not going to sit here and pretend like, oh, gee, I wish I was going to be right about so and so playing badly this season. Like, no, dude, I'm pretty happy after last night's game. Like, your 2-star players, your 2-star guards stepped up when you needed them to. So I'm not going to complain about that. Baylor shot 4 or 5 from 3 in the second half on tough looks, like not his usual.
Big shots when the game mattered. It was 2 points with a minute and a half left. Hit a not super open look.
Yeah. So again, just really not a ton, bless you, Mr. Dennis. Not a lot to complain about. I thought McDermott did a decent job switching up the coverage on Claude. I think he was willing in the first half to let Baylor kind of try and take him one-on-one, and then it switched to a little more of that same thing we did with Tominaga, where it's just frustrate that first step. Don't let him get the first step on your guy and get position easily. We worked. You could tell we worked a little bit because they were clearly trying to like back into our screen recoveries and draw fouls, which is kind of stupid when you think about it. Mm-hmm. But we changed our approach on that. Kalkbrenner wasn't rebounding super well in the first half, but he got there. I think he finished with 9. Mason had his moments in the game too. He's still a guy who's just kind of struggling to find his rhythm game to game. But you can get him there when you need him to. We drew up a nice play for him today too, yesterday.
Yeah, Kalkbrenner finished with 16 and 9. So yeah. Good job.
And Ashworth, still not the complete offensive performance. I actually thought he passed up a couple of pretty good looks.
He's now shooting 32% from 3 this year.
Yeah.
Probably not going to cut it.
No. And I mean, like, the 1-3 he did take that was out of rhythm, took it with, like, 26 seconds on the clock and pulled up from 30 feet. Like, why are you taking that one but not the other ones? I don't know. It's a guy who, at the same time, has confidence and clearly lacks it in rhythm in some places. But, to his credit, his best work yesterday was defensive.
Yeah, played good defensively. Also 7 assists, 1 turn. Like, 12-7 and 4, 12-4 and 7, I guess.
Yeah, you played 2 aggressive defenses. You got 15 assists, 1 turnover in 85 minutes of basketball.
He did pick up 4 fouls somehow. I don't know how he managed to do that.
Well, they gave him the one at the end. That was
that looked really soft, right?
Special.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looked really. I said on the other
soft.
side, it looked really soft. However, good call.
James Breeding looking out for Mr. Dennis.
Thank you. Yep, thank you. I mean, both teams signed up for 40. Refs played 40 minutes. I asked to. And I was begging Xavier to play for 40 minutes. Then when they fouled with 2 seconds left, I was like, you know what? Like, fine. I asked you to do that. I hope they were up 6 at that point.
Very poor choice of words.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, I think we've been sort of nice to him, even though I told him to get back to Utah. He's got to shoot better, but at the same time, he's been a positive lately.
Yeah, he's now doing everything else right. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, with the exception of the UConn game, he's posted a O rating over 100 in every game since Marquette.
Yeah.
So
114 on the season. Yeah, his assist to turnover is anything you can ask for from a Big East point guard.
Yeah.
He's actually shooting well from 2 this year, mostly on deeper 2s, couple of layups mixed in there. And he's 91% from the line. So if the 3s fall, he's getting close to being the player we hoped he would be.
Yeah.
We need, and I don't care, like, you're 32% right now, you're 0%. You're 0 for 0 starting tomorrow. If you rip off 40% for the rest of the season, nobody's going to remember that you were 32% right now.
Yeah.
So
next page.
Yep. New season for you, kid. New season. He's older than me.
Yeah. He was like in bed. Like, he's just such a adult. I'm sure he's in bed at like 9 o'clock every night.
Doesn't drink coffee. No caffeine for Steve.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sipping a ginger ale.
Yeah, these 7:30 tips, man.
I was gonna probably killer for him. No wonder he missed the last free throw. Probably that is.
There's the UNLV game explanation.
Yeah, that's true.
Kid played in the Mountain West though. I guess time zone.
Time zone.
Yeah, wasn't. Always feels weird. Pac-12 after dark isn't quite as after dark for them. It's only special for the rest of the country, and now it's dead. All right, so let's chat bracket.
Yeah.
Let's chat the teams you guys built. So
what do we want to do? We just want to go straight into matchups, and I'm sure we'll shill a little bit. Do we just want to address our teams?
Here.
Do we want to do that first?
Because I put together like how many, all the players that were selected and how many times they were selected.
Okay.
I'm surprised at some of the results. So yeah, everyone realized that I made Jefferson too cheap. That was partially intentional because I wanted to take him.
Okay.
And honestly, I just see him as an underrated guy generally by the franchise that I guess I didn't realize how many people actually do appreciate him.
Might get the that's another example of that where like so many people call you underrated that you almost
It's almost like Scalabrini thing where it's like you think it's like a cult following, but actually everyone knows it.
Yeah. Do you know where he started his career?
Jefferson, New Mexico.
Yeah. I didn't know that till yesterday.
East Chicago, Indiana to New Mexico.
maybe like him even more.
Big DJ fan. Kalkbrenner came... So 17 of the 32 teams picked DJ, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like that, I thought it would be, I thought everyone who really likes him would take him at that price. And I guess it's maybe that we don't have a ton of true power forwards, and I think a lot of people just didn't want to take Kaluma. Because if you add up, Jefferson went 17, Kaluma went only on 4. So if that tells you anything, I think they were the same price too.
Not super accurate.
I mean, I'd take him.
You take Jefferson over Kaluma? I mean, I would too, but I guess like there's no right way to quantify. Like I think they're probably a lot closer of players than
17 to 4.
Yeah, people would like to acknowledge, but whatever.
Yeah, that's perfectly fair. Kalkbrenner second at 15, unsurprisingly. I debated if he should have been $7 instead of $6, just because of how important he is. But
does his jersey go in the rafters?
So people were having this conversation, and I'm like, 3-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. It has to, right? That's literally only Patrick Ewing has done that.
I think you take it off the table. I think Final Four this year, regardless, it does, which shouldn't really matter, but
it kind of
does.
If you win a Big East championship this year,
which one?
The regular season would mean more. Probably.
Yeah,
I know this is a tournament league, but
yeah, I can get behind regular season. I kind of am of the opinion conference tournaments don't mean that much.
I am too. I know, but like it's the Big East.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I would love a conference tournament. If we get it, it absolutely will be something that I remember and cherish, I guess. But like, they don't matter that much.
So much of and I think that's the new way of looking at it too, where like the conference champs always lose in the first weekend of the tournament.
Oh, yeah, a bit.
I mean, I don't know,
like just because Iowa always wins the Big Ten.
Yeah, I have no attachment to other conferences. Like when I grew up in the Big Ten tournament, like I could care less about it for reasons besides the fact that I knew my team was never going to win it.
I'm sure you were devastated when you lost at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday.
I went to many of those games. I saw them lose to at least 3 different teams at the United Center on Wednesday.
Northwestern in Minnesota, 10 a.m. in front of 56 people.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's the Big East, man. Like the Big East tournament is the conference tournament. It's at the place. So it means something for sentimental purposes. This is like everyone. It's a UConn thing, I think, because they've won so many of them that it's a tournament league or a tournament league instead of a regular season league. And I think also that probably had to do more when the Big East was huge and it actually was hard to win.
I was gonna say, there were probably years where the Big East Final Four was more stacked than the actual Final Four.
Oh, I guarantee that's true. But back to the team breakdown. So I didn't have this going down. Tyshawn on 8 lineups and Trey on 1.
You thought both would be higher?
I thought Trey would be higher. I thought people would underappreciate how much Tyshawn did for us. I don't know. I mean, if that's just a bad take.
No, I get what you're saying.
One person took Trey, and he's a point guard on that lineup.
Okay, that's worked fairly well.
And they were the same price, so like, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, I'm taking Tyshawn every time too. But I don't know. I don't think I could have done that any other way. I don't think I could have made either more expensive.
Before we get in the bracket, can we talk about some funny strategies? Like, what if you bought Brian Nemhard, broke his wrist, then played Trey at point guard, bought Ryan Kalkbrenner, gave him mono, and then played Kaluma?
You get to pick. You get like non-injured Kalkbrenner and mono Kaluma on the same team.
It's like a Lego game where you get like outfits on them, like.
But yeah, so there were only a few guys that didn't get picked by anyone. I I should have just defended my own take and picked Kelvin over Fizel.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I like Fizel. We've hung out, so I gotta support him too. Grosel, I was surprised didn't get picked. Like, I think people don't remember that he was actually kind of good.
I don't even know who that is.
He was 15. He was the really bad season, like the one bad season between the Doug year and the next year. But he like went pro and has been playing internationally forever. He's the only one I was surprised no one took, because the reason I was maybe gonna make Kalkbrenner $7 instead of $6 was that we don't have a ton of centers that people are gonna be picking, you know. But on that note too, nobody picked Patton.
That's surprising. Was he the same price as
He was the same price
That's
as Kalkbrenner.
probably why. Again, I didn't really watch Patton. That was a little bit
Totally different kind of player. That's why I did it too.
A lot more offensive. If I recall.
But and granted, you like with the rules I made, I don't know if anyone actually read them, but you only get the player from their Creighton tenure, so you only get freshman year Patton, because he was one and done.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
yeah, compare that to a fourth year Kalkbrenner. Yeah, I guess you pick Kalk every time. But if I feel like if I put him at $5, then he's probably getting picked on most teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said in the intro to it, like I know I made a lot of mistakes doing it. Some of them were intentional, so it is what it is. All right, so get into Mr. Dennis. Talk us through your lineup. As a 1 seed, we'll start in your region. Talk us through your lineup.
So my lineup, again, I'm fully aware that I probably didn't do this in the spirit of what I was supposed to do, but I don't give a shit. It's my truth. So Will Wade didn't play by the rules either, and look where it got him in the Southland. But
he's going to DePaul.
no, he's not.
Actually,
you know what? Yeah, we'll get around to that. I was going to say quick DePaul segment, but like, if you're an up-and-coming coach, why would you take that job? Like, I know the Indiana State coach connected. They're like, Michigan's going to open up this year. Michigan State probably is open in a year or two.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Izzo has much time left. Like, why would you take that job?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good
might
stuff
be open in a year or two, which I
Louisville
know
will be
May's
open,
gonna-
which is
exactly, like,
better than DePaul.
Why would you go commit career suicide at DePaul? Like,
Someone's going to just want to do it.
Maybe.
Like, that's why,
Same.
honestly, I think Wade might, is because I feel like he's the kind of guy that
Would they
just
hire
like,
him?
fuck it, I'll do it.
He still has the show cause next year.
Do they? It's DePaul.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
like maybe it's a McNeese where we don't care, but
Yeah.
I think Wade would be a good hire if he can get it. But again, from his perspective, like Florida State's gonna be open in a year or two. Miami's probably open in a year or two.
Well, that's like Dusty May is a Chicago guy, but there's no way in hell he's taking that
yeah,
job.
he's saying just go take Indiana.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, that was talking
Yeah,
to Paul.
Talking to Paul. Yeah. Sorry, we have to pretend that they're not a joke. That's offensive to people, I guess. Maybe win a game once. So yeah, my lineup. So I just went for upside. I basically just built this year's Kansas.
This team is so much better than
Yeah,
this year's
it's
Kansas.
I built it with the same philosophy of this
Yeah.
year's Kansas, which I also hate this year's Kansas. But so yeah, my whole strategy was like I'm just gonna have the best 4 on the court
Yeah.
at every time. Like that 5th position is gonna be a little bit of an issue.
A little
I,
bit. of an
I don't
issue,
really give
yeah.
a shit. Like, what's your plan? You're gonna score on one of the other 4? Like,
Well, here. So talk us through. We don't. This isn't a picture. This isn't.
yeah, okay. So starting point guard Tyshawn Alexander. He either won or got robbed of Big East Defensive Player of the Year.
Got robbed.
Okay, great. I didn't remember if he won one and got robbed.
Should
I knew
absolutely.
I knew he got
robbed
robbed once. I didn't remember if he won one. I mean, great on-ball defender,
Yeah.
great scorer. Like,
Can guard smaller guys,
Yeah.
because that was my first thing when I looked at him. I'm like, if they play like 2 smaller guards,
Yeah.
you might have trouble with him. Like, no, Tyson doesn't have
he can
problem with
guard. Doug McDermott.
At the 2.
Doug McDermott's too. Yeah, we're big. I don't give a shit. What are you gonna do about it? Like, if you put a small guy, you're just gonna shoot over him.
I mean, like, you only got one bad perimeter defender, and it's arguably Doug, who I don't even think is that bad.
no,
So.
like he's gonna be fine. He's not gonna be a plus defender, but he'll figure it out. And guess what? We're running fucking drop. Spoiler alert. He doesn't need to be that great. He doesn't need to keep a fast guard in front of him.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you even need to run drop with Tyshawn?
I mean, well, other spot. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. So I mean, okay, the best scorer arguably in college basketball history.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to figure out how to get a shot. You can't put 4 guys on him because we have Tyshawn who's going to be able to hit open threes and do a hell of a lot more, which is really all you need when you have arguably the best college scorer of all time on your team. Damian Jefferson's going to be an enforcer. Like, I want him picking up technicals. I want him to beat the shit out of
He
someone.
only got one technical.
Not on this team. He's not.
This is very notable.
He's kind of poor man's, like, he's going to be poor man's Draymond in that regard and better than Draymond everything else. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to bring edge to our team because our team is, like, Kalkbrenner's soft. Like, Doug's not soft, but we're a little...
You guys aren't physically imposing.
No, we're not physically. Like, he's going to have to break some edge. He's another plus defender who can score enough.
Yep.
Get down real. Get down
Underrated
grab
shot,
boards.
too. He shot like 38%,
Yeah.
19-20 from 3.
Yeah, had the second highest O rating in the 1920 season in the conference. So gonna do just enough.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Gonna give enough defense. Like, he can guard a like kind of 6'6" hybrid if we need to, like a Shireman. Like, we're putting Jefferson on him, and he's gonna do perfectly.
I would have loved to see him play against Bryce Hopkins.
Yeah, he's gonna do perfectly fine in that regard. Which is all we need him to do. The 4 spot.
The 4 spot.
What did I? Oh yeah, I put Jason Green in the portal.
Yeah.
I revoked his scholarship when I reread the rules, and I brought Yates in. I don't know. He could shoot a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. Should I have Yates or Green?
If you can only base it on what they've done in their great tenure, then Yates.
All right, yeah.
But not
Yates.
by
Yeah,
more.
he can hit 3. I mean, I don't really give a shit.
Right.
They're
You're playing 4 on.
Yates
You're
is
playing
just a
4 on
warm-up.
5.
If Yates doesn't want to play, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, he can show. I don't really care. He shows it.
You're I kind of can't believe you're the only one that tried to do it this way.
I'm surprised too, and like, again, I tweeted out, like, my argument's just gonna be like, you're not, like, I will play 4 on 5. I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do about it? Like, you're not gonna beat me on the perimeter. I have a better perimeter defender than you, and you're not gonna beat me inside. I have arguably the best defensive big in the Big East in the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Like,
What are you gonna play drop cover? Like, yeah.
yeah. What are you gonna do?
Drop
on me? Like,
coverage
yeah,
on Doug McDermott.
Yeah, play drop coverage on Doug McDermott. I fucking dare you. Like,
Him and
dude,
Tyshawn.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
that's
I dare you. What are you gonna do about it? How are you gonna stop me? Like, I'm just gonna spam pick and rolls. Like, I'm just gonna say, Doug, go score. Like, what are you gonna do about it? You're not gonna double Doug. Doug's gonna score 1-on-1 against anyone you have. And if you do double him, like, fuck it, I'll figure it out. Yates can hit an open. Like, if he's wide on the corner, he's still a Division I athlete. Like, he's
Right,
still a
he'll
Division
shoot
I college
30%
If I
from wide
tell
open
him to do
threes,
Mason
right?
Miller and I say, stand in the corner, don't move.
Yeah.
Like, he can do that.
Same high school.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, he'll be able to shoot 36% on wide open corner threes.
I mean, like 30 is your baseline.
I mean, a D1 guy with a decent shot can do better than that.
I suppose.
Again, like, he's literally not doing anything. Like,
He's standing in the
If he
corner.
shoots anything else, he's benched.
Yeah.
I'm bringing Green back.
Well, all right. So this all sounds great so far.
Yeah.
You got to rotate minutes in of Cashaw, Young, Wyndham, and Nick Zile.
Yeah. All right. I have multiple. So, like, they're gonna rotate at that.
The 4.
Yeah, the 4.
Like Evan Young is going to rotate.
Evan Young is going to play when we've already beat the shit out of when we're up 20 with 5 minutes left. Those are his minutes. And again, you did say 5 minutes per game.
But if you're playing one game, it's 5 minutes.
That's not really how per game works.
Sure it is. What per one? 5 per 1, 10 per 2.
I mean, still, yeah, I don't care. Do I want Evan Young on the floor? No. Like, you know, fuck it. He can just sit underneath the hoop. Like, we're gonna play 4 on 5 on defense too. We'll just baseball pass it to him. I don't give a shit. Like, we're gonna blow
All right.
teams out.
Genuine question. If a team does that to you, what do you do?
I
Do you
guess just
even
hope
leave a
score.
safety valve, or yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, I would. Like, I'd keep, like, a point guard at, like, the top of the key who's never crashing O glass.
And you get back in time. Honestly, you probably do.
That's what I'm
often
saying. You
enough
probably
to-
do, yeah. Like, he knows, like, if he sees a shot goes up, he gets to half court.
Yeah.
Like, and, like, it's not an issue when you make it.
Right.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. Remember the Kings, like, GM said he was going to try that? It was like the Kings GM or owner, like, 15 years ago.
I don't
He said
remember that.
it might have been Deepak. I don't know. He said they were going to play 4 on 5, and it was, it's
Yeah.
not going to work.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever tried it. But yeah, again, like, we have one bad spot on the floor at all times, and we're just going to rotate those guys. Like, are they going to be good? No. But again, like, if I tell Zile or whoever, just let them go by you. Like,
Yeah.
we're running drop. Okay, what are you going to do about it? Like, you're not going to score inside.
Yeah.
You can't score on the perimeter. My second worst defender is a 10-year NBA vet.
Yeah.
Like, you can probably play a little bit of defense. We're also going to kill you on the, like, we're huge. We're going to kill you on the glass too. Like, you're not getting a rebound.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jefferson's a great rebounder. Tyshawn was like quietly a good
Yeah.
rebounder. Doug also like quietly a good
That's what I'm
rebounder.
saying.
Yeah. All right.
That's why I was like, I don't think Kalkbrenner's a great rebounder for his size, but, like, he's
still 7'1", who averages like 7 boards a game this year.
Yeah.
Like Doug had a 17.8 D rebound rate. Like that's perfectly fine. Jefferson was 14. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
We're not going to need all rebounds because every shot we put up is going to go in.
Yeah. Now, I mean, like, and I'll say this too. Like, it's different now, but you're playing everybody 40 minutes.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Culpenter plays 40 minutes anyways.
I know, and that's why like doing this with the Creighton fan base is probably stupid because I was hoping more people would try and actually have like 2 decent players on the bench. No, because we all think that everyone can play 40 minutes now.
I mean, Doug played 84.4% of minutes. That's fine.
It's low.
Yeah, like if that's what 34 a game.
Yeah, Creighton standards. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, probably sat in some blowouts or something.
Yeah,
but I mean, here, let's look at his game-by-game minute breakdown. I mean, yeah, he played 30. Like he played 39 multiple times. He can play the entire game. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like it's slightly skewed by like playing 29 against Arkansas Pine Bluff, 26 against Arizona State when they won by 30. Like, yeah, I am just gonna play stars the whole game. If someone gets injured in this hypothetical scenario, not good. Like,
Yeah.
we're full. Injuries are turned off for this. I mean, again, my whole strategy is like, you aren't beating my starting lineup. I'll have one bad spot. You're gonna have to figure out how to do. Like, is that great? No, but we have Culpenter to help in the paint. We have enough individual good defenders. You're not gonna do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like Zyle is guarding your worst player. Whoever it is guarding your worst player. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
And like, you're not stopping this team.
No, I would think not.
There's
Yeah.
quite literally. I mean, no one can stop McDermott when he's surrounded by 4 okay players. Like, the 3 other guys on my team would be the best teammates Doug ever had.
Yeah.
And Doug still is arguably the best scorer in college basketball history.
Right.
Doug might average 40 a game.
Yeah, that's actually possible.
You're not stopping us, and we're going to play enough defense.
Yeah.
There's my argument.
And it's not a bad one, sir. No. It is not a bad one. So we are looking at Mr. Dennis Thamanos' 1 seed in the top left region. You're playing Bring Back Creighton football. I'm looking for his lineup. So your first round matchup is Nemhard, Farabello, Ballack, Jefferson, and Crumple.
Okay, yeah, I mean, Crumple will have 0 points. Culpenter will eat him alive. Like,
he can shoot it a little bit.
So?
I mean, like he'll give him 8 points on 3s and a deep 2.
Maybe. It's probably going to take him. I mean, if you're going to shoot, if Martin Crumple 3s is how you're going to take down my Doug McDermott-led team, then fucking try it.
Also, what you've got your nobody on Farabello probably.
Yeah, what is Farabello going to do? Sit and he can guard a guy who's just going to shoot an open 3?
Well, I mean, it's a reason this is a 1-8 matchup. He's got a little bit off the bench though. Rati, Froling, Samson Froling.
I'm surprised you didn't make him -1.
I should have. I couldn't.
Out of spite.
Yeah, if we had more centers, I would have done it out of spite.
Can I trade Evan Young for like a basketball? I get 5 minutes at the KFC to choose someone, and I can take him instead of like Evan Young.
I mean, honestly, you would like. There's some decent basketball players in.
Oh, I've said before, like when a good game the KFC is going, I don't think he'd be a top 4 pick there.
No, he wouldn't. No, like sometimes you'll see like the club team just kind of like shitting around down there. There are 6 players on that team better than him.
Easy.
All right. So, anyways, I think you've got a nice, comfortable round 1 matchup. So we'll take a look at.
So what are the matchups? Tyshawn versus Nemhard. Yeah, I win that.
Hold on, I lost my place. Yeah, you got Yates and Farabello, or
Farabello's better, but like
yeah.
Yates and the other Yahoos will be fine.
Doug on Mitch.
Fine.
Yeah. Jefferson on Jefferson.
Okay. I like my matchup better, but
Hulk on Crumple. That's the problem. So what I was gonna do instead of seeding everyone is like try and split up so there's no like same on same matchups, but then there just are in the next round, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I like your spot there. So Dr. Chim may have just done something he shouldn't have because Dr. Chim just reshuffled his team a little bit.
Wow.
Nothing crazy. Just one change, but so my lineup is now Davion at the point, Tyshawn at the 2, Mahoney at the 3, Jefferson the 4, Kalk the 5.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. Okay.
It was Farabello and Kyrie. Now it's Tyshawn and Mahoney.
Yep, I'd say
I think that's an improvement.
Yeah, I'd say it is.
I admittedly, like, when I put mine in, I had put almost zero thought into this. Like, I bet to this point everybody had given their team more thought than I had.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my change. I got Fizel, Green, Christophilus, Cashaw, and Wyndham off the bench. So it's that, there's options there. There's guys who aren't totally useless. Johnny C could play a decent 5 minutes without looking out of place. Fizel could play 5 minutes without looking too lost out there. Even Green, you could hide him for a few minutes. Wyndham he's 6'6". He looks like a Division I player. Cashaw will play 5 minutes standing in the corner because I won't let him touch the ball. He can be honorary blue crew. He can go stand with them and do chants while the rest of the team is playing. So I think I tweeted this story. Did I ever tell you it?
No.
I had a bet with one of my freshman year dorm mates or whatever, and I said he won't score 8 points in 8 games. We put $100 on it. He's at 1 point through 7 games. He gets hurt, or no, I think he doesn't play in the next game. So we say, oh, no, it's fine. What's he going to do? Score 7 points in the next game? Jefferson gets hurt. He plays 43 minutes in an overtime loss at number 8 Villanova, scores 9 points. Okay, what the fuck is that? So, yeah, all-time bad beat. Yeah, I hate that, man. I hated him before I made that bet, so that was just the cherry on top. So I was like, oh, okay, this guy coming in, he played with Jalen Brunson at Stevenson High School. They won a state championship. All right, this guy could be something. Yeah. He's got good numbers at Rice. Looks like an efficient player. Sucked ass all season.
Was he white, I assume?
No, he wasn't.
Really? That's a white name of a black Connor. Huh?
Connor Cashaw from Lincolnshire,
Illinois.
Such
a white name.
Yeah, from rich suburban Illinois. So, but yeah, so I have my issues with him. But anyways, that lineup I like a little better now. I had Kyrie in there, and then I realized, Tyshawn's pretty much as good of a defender as he was. Kyrie was an unreal defender. Tyshawn's last year was about on par with him, though. And they were both really good shooters. I'm going to say, I think only one other person picked Kyrie, ridiculously underappreciated for how good he was. Yeah, great rebounder, very good three-point shooter, excellent defender. So I kind of don't get that.
Yeah, before my time. Have I ever told you the Wyndham story? I'm sure I have.
No.
Yeah, definitely very different. But if you're under the age of 10, turn the pod off real quick. But this is freshman year in the dorm, so it's 3 a.m. And one friend was up to dubious actions in his dorm room, so his roommates were in my room, so we were all hanging out or whatever. And I was whenever you're done, come over, your roommate's here. And we get a knock on the door at 3 a.m., so we go open it, just assuming it's him. It's this random girl, and she's like, hey, do any of you guys have a condom? And I was like, no, I don't. My one friend, I had another friend from a different room. He's like, oh yeah, that guy. She's like, okay, yeah, I'm getting double teamed by Reef and Wyndham, so could you help me out? And he's like, sure. And then so he walked 5 rooms down to her room, and she was pitching him on joining Conservatives Club the whole walk there and back. Yes. So yeah, he gave her a comment. She's like, okay, thanks, I'll see you later, and walked to the end of the other end of the hall where the athletes were. And he told us the story. He's like, what the? I was like, the fucking balls on that girl. That's insane.
To say any of that out loud,
to wanting to knock on, because I'm sure we were the only dorm room with lights on.
Sure.
And so to go to a random dorm room
and do that in the first place. If you say nothing else except that,
that's still ballsy. At least in a kind perspective. Ted, the details is unreal.
Wow.
Yeah, good for her.
So there's talking Jalen Wyndham.
You
cannot get this kind of analysis anywhere else, folks.
You thought you were going to get any Jalen Wyndham discussion on a 2024 Creighton podcast? Boy,
you were wrong.
You assumed Jalen Wyndham was not a podcast. You were wrong.
You assumed Jalen Wyndham and Sharif Mitchell wouldn't appear in front and behind you. You were wrong. All right, so Dr. Chim now also feels a little bit better about his 1 seed. and is playing the 8 seed local Fake Jack, who I don't remember much about his roster. Let me see if I can't even find it on here. Oh, here we go. Nemhard, Manigat, Raggi, Hawkins, and Hegner. Yuck.
I don't even know who Hegner is.
That is T-shirt Toby was a 6'10" big from New Berlin.
Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Shot some threes, but it was one of those guys where, like, if he makes the first one, you're pissed because that means he's going to shoot more of them. Perfectly decent, like, stand-up big. Like, couldn't really guard anybody, but didn't do a terrible job either.
Yeah.
Raggi and Hawkins together is interesting. I mean, he's got 3 pretty good shooters there. Raggi, Manigat, and Hawkins can all shoot. So if Nemhard can get them the ball, he's got a decent little lineup there. I don't think it's worthy of an 8 seed, if I'm being honest. That looks more like a middle of the pack to me.
Do like Ryan Hawkins.
Although I will say, not a lot of X factor there, like none actually. So.
Yeah, you better not need a late game bucket. That said,
Yep.
Ryan Hawkins can lead you down the stretch.
Yeah, he's
leader.
Another one that, like, I kind of figured a lot of people would pick, and indeed they did.
I had him at first, but I needed the dollar for DJ.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are our first round matchups. Some other, we'll shout out some friend of the pod, Mark French. Let's take a look at his roster, which I also had to convince my podcast co-host to do his, so we could get up to 32.
Yeah.
So Mark French went with Zagorowski and Ratti, Grant Gibbs, DJ, and Kalkbrenner. So Kalk and Zeg, like that's a big deal.
Pretty good duo.
Yeah, and Gibbs is like
maybe Kalkbrenner can't play with Zeg. He was pretty bad that year.
Yeah, Kalkbrenner weighed all like 160 pounds of
Number
him.
32, Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Yeah, the most baby giraffe player I've ever seen.
Thankfully, I always believed in him.
Yeah, you did when others didn't.
Yeah,
It's definitely the way that went. It was definitely you
went.
who believed in him, and not somebody else.
Oh, fuck.
Not Dr. Chim either.
No, we were 1-2 shitting on him in the group chat.
Yeah. What group chat? You'll never know. But yeah, so Mark French, kind of nice looking lineup there. Obviously, Ratti's the weak part, but at least he can defend. Gibbs he played perfectly well in his Big East season. Not a great shooter, but he's going to do everything else right. DJ in there, a little toughness. You got a little balance of offense and defense, but that team is going to go as far as Zagorowski can take you. So I don't know. Take a look, guys, at your matchups. Do we want to do every matchup, or are we just
Probably not right now.
Yeah. So voting will open either tonight or tomorrow. I really haven't decided yet.
Are there any other really interesting teams you want to call out if we go?
Honestly, everyone just kind of did like really normal things. Like I was hoping. What do you mean?
I didn't really like.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I expected more people to try and like stuff stars in there and see what happens.
But I just wanted not to just pitch myself more. Like when you're here, like every time when you read off these starting lineups, I'm like, I mean, my team's so much better.
Yeah.
And like I know the bench is kind of a thing, and we're gonna have a weak fifth spot. Like,
You've only got 4 guys there now, though.
Yeah,
I'm rotating in 5 guys. You're only
once I kicked Green to the I pulled his scholarship for. I did the reverse of what a lot of professors do, and I made them like make his grades worse.
Yeah, like I'm looking here. Like there's one interesting team, KDH 68760, put Ronnie Harrell at the point. He did in fact do that for like half of a game and only turned the ball over like 12 times. So Ronnie with AOC. It's also the only one that picked AOC. So I don't know if I just made him too expensive or people don't remember that he was actually a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Mahoney, Jefferson, and Krompel. So a little mix of toughness. They're all the same height. Like that's everybody is like 6'6" or 6'8".
Did CB make a team?
No.
Fuck.
No. Who?
You know, Chris Boyd.
Oh no.
Damn it.
Well, we gotta be careful now because he might listen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Chris, if you're listening, make a team.
Yeah.
You can be the playing game.
Yeah, we're not gonna. Yeah. Well,
Chris Boyd gets winner.
Well, because that's like, and now like a bunch of people are going like, oh shit, I wish I would have known about this. I wish I would have been a team. Like, we'll do it again at some point. I'll change
we'll get
some numbers.
More off-season content.
Because we were talking, and this was Mr. Dennis's idea that we just create all the players in NCAA 10 and then run sims of this. Yeah, there's off-season content for you.
There you go.
So yeah, we'll do that. Other than that, not a ton of like super interesting lineups. Everyone just kind of did very normal things. Oh no, I'm sorry. Sindelar also put Ronnie at the 1. So we got a couple of people who remember the 1 or 2 games that he played there, and the results were sporadic to say the least.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about if you like your team. We're gonna open up all the voting, and it'll all be individual, so you can make your case below your poll. Let the people know how you feel.
Yeah.
And about a week from now, we'll probably have our winner, and we'll talk about it extensively. So
If I don't win, I'm gonna be so pissed.
I'm honest, like I'm gonna be surprised if you don't win.
Stars play majority of the minutes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get rationally upset about it.
We'll have to I hope it's someone. We'll try and bring your opponent on the pod.
Sure.
Yeah, because I think it's gonna be you. Yours is the only lineup that like actually stood out, I think.
Yeah. It's like I don't know how you stop it. I don't know how you score. Like
We'll see. We'll see what the people think.
We'll
Maybe
see.
you know what,
Maybe
you're
some-
talking to your audience here, so maybe they decide they want to create a little.
I was gonna
little
say, if you
upset.
guys fuck with me, I'm gonna be so
All right.
integrity.
Well, yeah. So voting will open soon. If you stuck with it this long, congratulations. All right.